Okay.
All right, let's call the Board of Health meeting to order. It is 7:07. And before we start, I'd like to thank Chris Raven for his service and his different input and point of view. And we would also like to welcome John Mativia and Joe Devlin to the board. John and Dave, John and Joe, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Jim.
John Mativia, a lifelong resident of Billerica. I employed as forward to serving on the board of health.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. My name is Joe Devlin. Again, not a lifelong resident. I'm a blow-in. I moved here when I was in the third grade. Graduated from the Billerica school system. I worked as a paramedic, 35 plus years, 30 of them here in the town of Billerica. Ran the ambulance service for my last 6 years. Town meeting member, yada, yada, yada. A couple other committees, the opportunity arose. I was asked if I'd like to participate. I view it as a decent opportunity, so I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you very much and welcome to the board.
Thank you.
Do we want to fill the vice chair position tonight, or do we want to wait until Amit is in person?
Why don't we wait till it's in person? That's my personal feel.
Is everyone okay with waiting to fill the vice chair's position when Amit is in person?
Yes,
That we have all contingencies here.
yes.
All right, fine. We'll table that to the next meeting if that's okay. I did go out of order, I'm sorry. But next up is minutes. We cannot vote on minutes because Amit is not here and the two other gentlemen were not here, so we have to table those till the next meeting. Because unfortunately, gentlemen, you cannot vote on them. Bob, are you okay with that?
Perfect.
All right, moving on to activity reports. Crystal, you're gonna have to guide us through because we have 3 months on some of these.
Yeah, everyone has 3 months. It's so exciting.
It was fun.
So many things happening over 3 months. I did a lot of practice. So I just wanted to give you the reports that they've done every month. They just add on to what they would report on a monthly basis. Javi has provided ongoing housing cases that she's been working on, and nuisance cases. Some of them are in court. We've issued order letters off of them. Some of them take a long time to close out. But there's always a little bit of progress happening. We've worked with Christine and Shayla to do summer camp inspections. She's facilitated opening Makosi Beach and working within the standards for swimming and public beach standards. And she's also inspected all the seasonal pools and has got them up and operating. If you have any specific questions about any numbers on the report she provided, I'd be happy to answer them or defer it to Poppy and get back information. But this is her standard report that you'll see in the book. It's very lengthy, and if there's a way to maybe summarize everything and not lengthy, I think that would be gladly accepted.
Okay.
But these details are also
I was
very.
gonna say, right now, the detail's gonna be beneficial to catch everyone up to speed.
Shows how often she follows up.
All right. Any questions, Bobby?
I have no questions at this time.
Joe, any questions?
No questions at all.
And John? No, all right. Moving on to Shayla with our next one.
Shayla picked up some of the complaints she's received and her responses. She's been working on some of the new establishments, getting them up and operating, going through the interview process. And this past month, she's been going out to do grease trap inspections with the wastewater division. And has found a few that need a little bit of attention, so, we're following up with them. We had the hot air balloon festival. It's a very hot day, but we did all the food inspections. There are a couple of hiccups there, but, it turned out everyone was serving safe food, and it seemed like a fun event. A lot. We also got the permitting going in the farmer's market up and operating during a 3-month period. They have good staff to help coordinate the permitting and work with the vendors. I was out there this afternoon, I was meeting with one of the staff, and she's the one that coordinates the activities. So she's always asking about food safety and if something is appropriate, they will have a hand wash station set up and gloves available for whoever's handling the food process as part of the market. That's shared.
Any questions on Shayla's report?
I do have a question on, the complaint was for that new Mexican restaurant at 446 Boston Road. How do they assume that, why do they assume that they had a problem there, whoever made the complaint? You know what I mean? Is it do people, they get a stomach virus or something, and they assume that it has to be where they ate?
Yeah, so as part of the foodborne illness investigation.
No, I understand why we have to.
They'll list out where they ate. And not everyone remembers their 72-hour food history of what they've eaten. But that they'll list out, oh, I actually went to this restaurant. And I ate maybe tacos. And, so we do our due diligence if we think it could be associated with a foodborne illness.
No, I understand what
Yeah.
we have to do. I just,
So they made a complaint, it may not even be that restaurant.
right, that's what I'm saying. Did they just assume it has to be where they ate a couple of days ago?
Most people assume it's their last restaurant they ate in because they forget it takes that long to develop.
But it's usually what you ate 3 days prior. And so
Wash your hands
we
after
do the
the
inspections just in case if we get other people that have E. coli or have gotten sick from this establishment, and then we can verify that checked out these conditions, and it helps with the state investigation when a potential foodborne illness outbreak occurs.
And there were no other cases.
Not that we had reported of.
So just because we've gone and asked them, if you've gone and asked some questions, doesn't necessarily mean there's a problem. It's just we're doing our due diligence.
And the other question I have is what's gonna happen at the Center Cafe? I think it's closed.
Right, so
I heard they were gonna renovate the place.
yeah, the owners, new owners, purchased it and, they were
Is that
given
Mr.
notice.
Crescio?
The questions.
Yeah. Okay.
They're trying to decide about where to move it, what to do with it, but it does need some renovations.
There's a dumpster.
Well, it sounds like they're doing a good job of moving materials from there. Yeah, they wanted to change the type of operation because, it seems like the staff was operating, how, under like the prior ownership, and the Crescio was just the owners, just didn't feel that it was appropriate and they needed to, close the business, to close certain business practices that were happening.
One more thing. Review the plans for Mimi's Bar.
Bonding.
What the hell is that gonna be?
Sandwich place.
Do you remember she came in for a wait for a grease trap?
It looks like it's a very small piece
Yes.
of
Take a
property.
It's a sandwich with some like pickled daikon onions, some usually pork It's
a nice
really
cup.
good. Yeah.
Vietnamese food, Indian food.
Okay,
They'll be open probably in a couple weeks.
no more questions.
All right, gentlemen, any questions? Joe?
No question.
John? All right, I have one question. I did have a question about Center Cafe. What is going on with Newtown?
Newtown, just sold. And the new owner was into the department last week asking about building permits and what to do. So they're, seems like they've switched hands. I know a lot of owner wanted to sell, but now he's gonna be focusing on the bagel,
Mm-hmm.
which is okay.
I'll be here in a few minutes too, so you can certainly ask some questions.
Yeah, you could ask him about Newtown.
Nope, it's closed, it's done, it's. My question is,
But,
it's closed, or we're still doing the bagel?
I would like to see renovations, to the interior of the facility, or something that need to be addressed before a new owner comes into operation.
Okay, perfect. All right, moving on, we have Bethany.
Bethany also has, a lot, with the number of residents. Um, it's, the details are captured in the report. I don't have much to say besides, there's a lot.
Bobby,
No questions on Bethany.
Joe,
No question.
John? How many hours is she up to, and is she increasing?
So she is up to, she's at 19 hours.
Mm-hmm.
The NEPA, Northeast Public Health Regional Alliance group that we are participating in, also has a regional, position available, and I've asked to increase the hours, and I thought we got that approved, but it didn't get actually approved, and there's been a changeover of administration.
Mm-hmm.
So I was hoping to increase at least 10 hours, to provide a little bit more, to the community, but we're not there yet.
Is she active in the other?
So the other community, this would, supplement, it would increase her by the 10 hours, but we're having, we're trying to navigate conflict of interest laws, because she's a municipal employee in America, and would be a municipal employee doing the same position in, the Serviceville, Rica, like it's the regional position.
Yeah, I've been hearing little bits about it, so that's why I was asking.
So that hasn't moved forward yet. NEPA is trying to explore that to ensure, conflict of interest laws.
Mm-hmm.
There's no conflicts.
Can I ask a quick question? So I know the police department has been doing, kind of municipal, multiple communities doing, public health psych stuff that are being funded by different, there's grants involved, Tewksbury's involved, Chelmsford is involved, Billerica is involved. I think they managed to avoid some of that. So I don't know if it's helpful or not helpful.
We're, the Public Health Excellence Grant, funding, we're trying to explore that. There shouldn't be a conflict of interest, but like that.
Yeah, I think those questions may have arisen related to that because it's employed by multiple different agencies, but
Yeah,
not so much.
definitely. Robert, you might be able to also amend your job description here and, get paid by NEPA to have Bethany increase her 10 hours and then serve the region for those 10 hours, but also the employee here.
Good.
Just have-
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. If you're serving the region, you have to care for document 10 for the region and ours here. Okay. Any other questions?
No question.
All right. Moving on. Mosquito control update.
So I provided, my report as well, to jump over it, but did you see that? Was that in the, okay, was that in the, was that in the package that I included? Did everyone get that?
No, I did not get one from you.
Okay,
You were not included in there unless I just dropped everything that you out of order. No, I don't have you.
but you can have, so mosquito control update, you can update with people's benefit. Our risk level has gone from, low to moderate. We sprayed a neighborhood last week, because we had positive mosquito pools. And, no, that's not me, no, that's not me.
Thank you. All right, stay on this one and we'll come back to this.
Sure. So we don't have any more positive mosquito pools, but this is a time of year that, we tend to see in Massachusetts, West Nile virus. And so, what residents really should be doing is protecting themselves against mosquito bites. And that's, trying to avoid peak hours, where, mosquito repellent outside and screens on your doors and windows. That's the update.
Question. Do we have a Francis Wyman in the record? I thought it was just Wyman.
No, Francis Wine.
Francis Wyman does go, I thought it broke off before it got there. Okay, perfect. Any other questions on that?
Just something quick that I noticed, great information. I liked when it came out really expediently. The one thing I didn't see in there that might be helpful would be a link to the actual West Nile virus signs and symptoms and whatever, whether it's tied to DPH's website. Other than that, I thought it was great.
I provided that, but I'll make a note to make sure, and I probably will send out more education in the future. I linked on our website. That's where I remember. Sorry.
Right, it was on the website, it wasn't on social media. Most people unfortunately get their news from.
Yeah, and I only have so much control over the town social media.
Right.
And, I linked it to the mosquito control project. But I don't know, yeah. The second page, maybe it should be brought up to the first, so
Yeah, just
Front and center.
the stuff that I have.
that's good feedback.
Can we access our own Facebook page? Can we control that?
Yes, we can control that. I don't have access to the Facebook page. It's Bethany who I've granted the access to. She has gladly shared it with me. I just, have not prioritized it in my
Can she
day-to-day
share with
operations.
one of us? And that way we can do it, you know, she's only here 19 hours and we can aid and assist.
Yeah, of, more information helps.
More information is out.
Maybe, our, clerk could also.
Yeah, as long as somebody on a day-to-day basis does it. I do it for a couple other groups, so that's not a problem. I can help with Melissa, that's between us, we can get it
That's
done.
where you want to prioritize some work. We can work on.
Yeah,
Anything change.
we can do a little bit, I just don't wanna, cause that, like, honestly, that's where most people go to get their news. They got the voicemail, they went to social media. The voicemail didn't give street listing, they wanted to know what it was. So it's trying to balance to get the information out. All right, then jumping back to Crystal's report.
I have no questions for Crystal.
I also have no question. actually think the info they got out was great on that one piece.
I think the information got out there very quickly and timely, and the message was very concise. It's also reposted numerous times, and they were commenting, well, I didn't get that message, and very quickly people were responding, well, did you sign up for the alerts? And it wasn't that, oh, I didn't get it, it's, did you sign up? So I'm hoping there were a lot more people signing up for the alerts. Because the more people that we can get the information to is better. Questions now?
There's a comment on, bigger commodities, I think they find a problem.
They did find a problem, there's a gasket that needs to be repaired, since they repaired, there's no more complaints, and I've gone up there and I smelled it, and
Not so.
not as a, it's not as offensive. I have Christine's, it wasn't prepared Friday, so I'm just gonna take one down, pass it around. You can take a look at her report as well, that will be all the staff reports.
Thank you. The rest of my.
Thank you, sir.
Starting at the end of the table. Questions?
I have no questions. Christine does an absolute awesome job.
I agree with him, and I have no questions about Christine's report also.
No question.
All right, fantastic. As always, fantastic job.
And I just add a note to the documents. My report was, I just wanted to update you as part of my report, I forgot to do. So the FEMA floodplain, maps were updated. We have already had residents call in, that they now have, to carry insurance over their properties that have, the floodplain maps that have been changed. But, thank you for working through the process to amend the regulation, and if we are in compliance with it, with the maps. And then the other update is, Talbot Mills, I think you all know this, they requested a continuance, so we would have heard them today, but we're beginning to hear them in September for the, variance for the floodplain, for the waiver that they're requesting. And the other project that the board has, approved in the past, but the project has gone under redesign, is 315 and 317 Road. The buildings, well, now 2 buildings, and, they're no longer requesting the waiver for the building within the ground. And they're not requesting work within the floodplain. I just wanted to provide you an update, they don't need to come up with
Is that the
the
pool place?
has been right behind the pool place.
Okay.
Part of Lantheus, the Lantheus stay.
So no waiver, no.
We granted them a stormwater permit like a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
and a variance for work near the floodplain, and a variance for one of the buildings just being built into the groundwater. But the reconfiguration has changed. Stormwater now is engineering. And so we're not gonna come back before us for stormwater, but, we have already had it peer reviewed for the updates, for stormwater, but for floodplain, it's moved enough distance away from the floodplain. Very instantly moved the building a little bit further away from the hill.
You are, we could do the target plan.
Okay, those are my updates.
See if you get
with
it
projects. We can talk about. Would you, I think, so, Sandra reached out over the weekend about, Creighton. There's, let's see, this is a product that, is being retailed in convenience stores in,
Kratom,
Great, there you go. If you can provide some knowledge to the board about
So,
what it is.
if there's some way to limit it, it would be a great idea. So it's a synthetic, cannabis type, herbal supplement. It comes out of, Asia. We're seeing some significant adverse effects to people who use it. It can cause them to kind of get a little agitated and, you find it in convenience stores, you find it in, the tobacco shops and stuff like that. I'm not sure how it's regulated. I've never dived into that.
So I started diving into it today. I had a resident come in a week and a half ago, talking to me, this week and a half, 2 weeks or something.
About a week and a half ago, yeah.
Talking about it, raising concern. I don't know that, like, I don't know anything about it, but, the FDA put out a letter in July, advising they're not gonna approve it for any drug-related purposes, but it's falling into convenience stores in like kind of like the original goal of our tobacco control regulation. This product is addictive and has negative side effects. And the concern from that I've been reading about it is they're relating it to the opioid crisis. That this is so available, so addictive that it could become the next opioid crisis. So today, Javi went to 7-Eleven and Cumberland Farms and talked to them from their shelves. But the FDA is also advising distributors to stop distributing it because I think they need to do more investigation about this. So there's some nice documents that are up on the FDA website that we educate retailers with. Probably going to go to other retailers in the community as well and advise them and take it off the shelves. I talked to Ron Beauregard, the tobacco control coordinator for our region. He said that Lowell and Dracut have outright banned retail sale of this under their Board of Health, that they can do this separate from tobacco. I was thinking initially it was like maybe a vape product. That's one type of form, but it's more like an energy drink.
So they
powder.
put it out there like that, and it's supposed to help if you've got some addiction to substances.
Right.
It's something you can use to help with that. As it breaks down in your system, it turns into something else, and I can't remember exactly what it is, but there's no herbal use for it. There's no legal, well, I shouldn't say,
Non-addictive.
there's no positive use for it that's
Right. And so,
medically,
And
Kratom?
Kratom,
hey,
Kratom.
the reason I found out about it is a resident sent me a note saying that if you use a secret password, you can buy it in the convenience stores.
What?
You can,
Uh-huh.
you used to be able to buy it online.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's they're registered.
Right.
In a locked case.
So
This
they
is
know
somewhat-
something.
You can buy it?
Yes,
You
you
can
walk
buy it.
up and you tell them you want this special thing and
Yeah, but why is quick the secret password? I don't understand that.
they're not, they know it's not
So it has,
commercially accepted.
but yet, they're getting it from distributors. and
Mhm.
selling it.
So we have
Since
to,
it's a product that people purchase
Yeah.
and it probably has good turnover. But,
it's
given,
something we need to have on our,
if that's something you're interested in investigating and
does the board agree that it should be
100%.
investigated?
100%.
I can provide
Yes.
information at the next meeting and see what Lowell and Dracut have
They've
put
banned it.
together. They banned it
They
out.
banned it outright.
And, before you do that, just make sure you have all the information that you have at your fingertips. That is available to make that decision.
So if she can continue going around telling them to please remove,
And they are removing.
and they are removing it, and if we can discuss and potentially do something our next meeting, that would be fabulous.
Would you? Are
The
you
FDA
considering
might,
this? Well, the
might ban it
FDA,
off.
they have,
they have it.
they ban the distributors, but distributors are
Still
they're
doing it.
saying stop manufacturing. But you can still obtain it, at retail locations. So like we have that authority, Board of Health has authority to regulate what, actually, no, I need to investigate what Drake and Aloha have. Should have much time to do that, but I'll provide more information if, you want to consider it an emergency order. If
I think we need more information before we consider an emergency order, just so we know
Right.
exactly what we're talking about.
Sure, so then, let's see, we're in August. So into October, at the September meeting, I'll have more information gathered up. And if you want to adopt it, if you're thinking it's an emergency order, then you can act under the provisions of the MGL, or you can, look to having a hearing and adopting it in October.
Gentlemen, okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, that is our plan. Thank you very much for looking into that, and thank the resident for bringing it to my attention. All right, now. I lost it. We are up to, next meeting is newsletter.
So these are the last 2 months of the newsletter that has not been posted on the website because there's so many city amendments made, but I just wanted to provide it to, last 2 remaining for November and December. There have been comments of changing the colors, which is not a problem. But once that's worked through, I'd like to, post it on the site.
Who's doing the newsletter?
So these will be posted once I incorporated your comments.
No, but who?
Kristen, these are the last 2 that
From
Kristen.
the intern.
Oh, really?
I didn't want you to review all 12.
Yeah,
I was working through it.
she did a marvelous job on all of these.
I think once you get all the comments when we had the previous meeting and make it more uniform looking. The information is good. Okay, now we are up to next meeting, September 28th. Everyone
September
good with that? September 8th, excuse me. Everyone good?
Good to me.
All right, and we discussed postponing the filling the vice chair until. And I do apologize, I forgot to ask at the beginning of the meeting, is it here for open mic? I'm just gonna make sure that we have that list someplace in our minutes. No one is here for open mic, we're gonna move on. Our first hearing is at 7:20. KS Partners LLC, 298 Concord Road, request for extension of stormwater management permit and variance for work near the floodplain.
So, the applicant, Todd, I forgot his last name, he wasn't available to come in, but he's on. Todd has brought 4 projects to the board for stormwater and floodplain variances, and so, this is something the board has approved, and I believe, hasn't moved forward yet with the project, and so he's just asking for more time for the project to move forward, probably when they have, a tenant, but if Todd wants to say anything.
Todd, can you hear us?
Todd, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Hello? Oh, yep. How are you? Yeah, I mean, our intent is, and I'm not even sure if you guys have received inquiries, but we're in the process of recapitalizing. And I know some of the folks, interested parties have reached out to the town of Billerica, various different departments with open permits, but Yeah, I mean, naturally, we're trying to pivot away from the biotech and more towards like a flex space, light manufacturing. But again, just, need to just pivot from life science use altogether. And we're looking to just keep this permit open. It's obviously a very nice trinket to have when we're trying to recapitalize. We have another extension from the planning board for the same, that expires June 11th, 2027. I don't know whether we can make it, coterminous with that or,
So Todd, we're just here for the stormwater, the board and health permit. You'll have to talk to Pat.
have a terrible echo.
There's an echo.
If you could repeat that, Crystal.
You'll just have
Yeah.
to talk to Kat about the planning board. I remember we had a little bit of back and forth with one of the projects, but
I think he was asking that we extend our permit to coincide with the same date as their permit.
let's make it easy.
Not that to talk about them, but just to extend to their date. I think that's what he was asking. Is that correct if I'm paraphrasing?
That is correct. Thank you.
Not really, it's not on.
That is correct.
I'm not signing.
He's
That is
still
correct.
here.
Thank you. Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
What was the date?
June.
June 11th, 2027.
All right, I will take questions starting at the end of the table.
So more of a procedural question, I think, how common is a request like this? Is it a common occurrence, not a common occurrence? And
Doesn't happen too frequently.
Okay.
It's usually, project usually gets going within a few months of it being approved.
I had no other question.
Bobby?
I have no questions.
How long is stormwater permit good?
2 years.
2 years. So typical extension is 2 years.
Yeah.
So,
My concern is the change of stature. Stormwater bylaws are changing fast and furious. If we give a 2-year extension, we're logging into 4-year-old standards.
We have our stormwater engineer present tonight, Christina Papadoc. She could answer your question.
So I can type it back. What project is this? For 98. I know.
So,
Which 98?
it just looks like,
So what is it called?
Wouldn't the hotel be next to?
So their original stormwater permit was issued before I was issued a stormwater permit. Okay, was it peer reviewed?
yes,
Okay, so they already fell within, I think they already complied with a lot of stormwater requirements.
But are they changing?
Are they changing again? No, I mean, no, this is a large commercial development and they complied with stormwater requirements. I can't see why they wouldn't still, comply with stormwater requirements. If it was peer reviewed and, I mean, did you take a look at it? I just don't.
Yeah.
I didn't look. Yeah, so if you look at it, it looks like,
yeah.
and if it looks like, this would be, appropriate to renew.
You're just.
I just have to look at
Any
it.
change with stormwater bylaw, the stormwater handbook. So this, she's just concerned if we extend the permit, will that change? But we never know if it's gonna
So
change.
we don't know, so we have a draft stormwater handbook that came out in January. Who knows when that'll go through. We just had a meeting, where the DEP was available and mentioned they had for 200 written comment letters.
Right. But his
About the
original permit was 2023. And if those new guidelines came out in January, he's already out of date.
No, they didn't have the draft.
To draft.
The draft and over 200 people commented, including myself, on the new regulation. So, the draft of regulation, so it has not been adopted yet, but the DEP is still reviewing all of the, 200 plus letters they got. that's how they'll make a determination on how, where to move forward there. They're kind of,
Do you know if substantial changes, significant changes from the current minimum to the revised that could affect a permit that was issued in 2023? Would it need to be? Okay,
very possible, yeah.
okay.
Anything possible.
Yeah, that's my question.
And we have a significant order of conditions related to it because naturally we don't know who the end user is going to be. We don't have a tenant identified. So we left a lot of that open-ended so that once we find the end user and we build the building, then we would have to come back and address the order of conditions.
That's part of the order of conditions, as part of the stormwater management permit, we'll have an environmental monitoring present for it, but, I don't know, should it? Are you looking to have another peer review done once it's?
I'm trying to make sure we get the best project possible without any detriment.
That makes sense.
And if the bylaw has changed over the last 4 years, it could be or whole into a standard different than what we're supposed to.
Would there be a provision in the approval that you modify it and it meets the standard?
Basically, I understand what's new stormwater management.
That meets significant. That,
Right, if you want that, you want to.
yes, exactly. So they do have a design that's approved, and their intention is to stay with that, right, Todd?
Can you lift your microphone up? I'm having a tough time hearing you.
We're having
Or tough time in getting that, feedback. What I was just saying is that your project has already been designed. And that's what's gonna be meeting current standards. And the question is, you don't have a tenant, don't have someone identified yet. Will the project change again, or are you staying within these, current design standards?
Yeah, I think for purposes of this meeting, naturally, it's the existing permit, extending that existing permit, but the intent right now is to pivot, right, away from kind of that life science, biomanufacturing, and move more towards like a flexi, like manufacturing type need, right? I mean, that we're just looking at the market and trying to read it.
Yeah,
If they have a stormwater permit, and they already have the whole condition, they have the design. So what they were talking about, the interior of the building.
Is that correct, Todd?
I'm so sorry. I'm having a tough time hearing you. Is there a way you can move your microphone up off the desk?
it's up in the ceiling. the
Oh,
microphone.
it is? Oh, okay. Sorry.
So, thank you for your patience, Todd.
If this was a permit that was brought forth today for approval, would it be approved today? If this was a new permit that came out?
Done it in 2 years. they don't answer that's the problem.
I would say probably not, because this board adopted some different regulations in February 24. But having said that, they've already gone through planning, conservation, stormwater review, and peer review. This is a project that's well downhill, well down the road. So if we don't extend this, then they will have to start over with it.
Is there not? I don't know if there's a provision in the order of conditions that allows you to look at the current, code or regulations, whatever you go by, right? So if you're concerned about the number of years, right? And if we come down there with construction documents in a year and come back to this board, are we required to, meet the current standards versus the standards from 4 years ago when you initially pulled the permit? Again, I don't know if there's a provision within the order of conditions that, kind of floats, year to year, if there's any new regulations.
No, the orders of conditions are referenced on a particular plan, and it's not a sliding scale, and it's good for 3 years.
What is the board's pleasure?
I'd like to make a motion.
And make your motions.
I'd like to make a motion to grant an extension of the stormwater management approval for 298 Concord Road till June 11th of 2027.
Can I interrupt? I'm sorry. I know the process. I apologize. I was looking at the wrong line. The 298 Concord Planning Board permit extension is on May 8th, 2027. The other
Okay.
one. Yeah, I had the wrong
I'll change
address.
that motion to May what?
Eight.
May 8th.
of 2027.
So you're shortening yourself.
Well, I'm telling the truth. You don't have to change it.
We have a motion in a second, right?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Was that June?
May.
Hey. So, in favor? Opposed? 3-1.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
For the next, 400.
Thank you.
Now moving on to 400 Concord Road, AKA 300 Concord Road. Request for extension of stormwater management permit and variance for work near the floodplain. Todd, you are still with us?
I am still here. And now I will represent June 11th, 2027 as the planning board extension date.
I did not hear what you said. I do apologize.
Yep, the 300 Concord Road extension with the planning board was June 11th, 2027. That might sound familiar.
Okay, so this one was originally done in 2021. And they've had one extension already. Is there any different information you would like us to reconsider?
It is the same.
All right, gentlemen, questions?
No question.
No question.
Anything to add? Is there a motion on the table?
Go ahead, John.
Make a motion that we send the permit for 400 Concord Road issued to K&S Partners LLC to June 11th, 2027.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. 3-1.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have 434 to 836 Boston Road Realty LLC. Request for a waiver of regulation, chapter 5, section 3 regulation.
Hi, everybody. For the record, my name is Peter Blanco. I'm the project surveyor and engineer. I try. That's the best thing I can try. Yeah. Or, yeah. I even colored this myself. So anyways, Pete Blaisdell, my two apples, he's the probably going. So thank you for seeing us. I apologize if there's any confusion. So I was just actually asking Mike. Mike and I have been actually working on this project, I think, since 2014. And ultimately, this is what we've been working towards getting this done. So as Sandra, I think, brought up earlier, Newtown Grill is right here. Emerald Rose is right here. This is Dorset Avenue. So it's actually two separate parcels that are about 20,137 square feet. There was a house that was here that was taken down right between 2008, 2009, with parking along the side, parking in the back. Existing house here that was just taken down 3 months ago. Recently, yeah, yep. So same thing. Parking in the back, parking in the front, and if you know Newtown Grill, people have the ability to either park here or park behind or park next door in a couple of lots. So we've been through zoning board of appeals, we've been through planning board, we've been through some neighborhood meetings, and we've received all of our approvals. We had to file for highway access permit with Mass DOT. That led to a couple little snags in that Fred Russell and the DPW and a few other people planning board, they wanted to know if we were going to put new sidewalk across them there, but at the time Mass DOT didn't know if they wanted to do sidewalk. We kind of got held up for a while with them, and then I don't know, 3 months or so ago, 3-4 months ago, I was meeting with Fred at a cemetery commission meeting. He said that we can start getting going. We know what we're going to do now, and the plans were issued. So what the plan is to do is to, it's all right. We want to sell a lot of coffee and bagels to the fire department guys that are right here. And they work out, I think, in this area up here. So they're probably going to want to come for a nice
No
coffee.
donuts.
Plus, no
Bagels.
no donuts in this area, just bagels. So again, if I don't know all the details, I'll let Mike fill it in a little bit. So Mike has 2 of these restaurants going, one in Burlington, one in Winchester. It's about a 1,000 square foot building with a drive-through. There's parking available in the front. There's parking available on the side. We've extended some pedestrian areas, and Christina's behind me too. Christina was with me when I did the soil testing and went through the neighborhood meetings and went through the process. So we've got all of our permits. One of the last few things we had in 2023 was there were some comments about drainage and that type of thing. And I actually forgot where we left off with it. So Christina got in touch with me because we had a few other issues come up, like we were trying to reuse the sewer line, but they wanted to cap and cut off the water line. So we had a few other things. She sent me some comments about drainage. And one of the comments was that she wanted to know if we could redo the project with the NOAA 14 numbers, which you were probably just mentioning. And let me just say, I'm an engineer and it can be very confusing. So I could certainly see how it's confusing for the Board of Health. What Christina was saying, like, are you on that committee? Are you on the DEP Stormwater Committee with Bill Renault and those guys? Okay. So for the past 40 years or so, the Department of Environmental Protection have been using this one standard set of numbers. And they go by county in Massachusetts. And if you're in Middlesex County, in a 2-year storm, you use 3.1 inches of rain in 24 hours. Somewhere along the way, some towns adopted a study called the Cornell study, which was a little bit more intense. And then they've settled on this other thing called the NOAA 14 Atlas numbers. And basically what you do with that is you put in the Latin long of the project, and then it goes to an algorithm spreadsheet, whatever you want to call it, and it comes up with expected precipitation amounts. The 2 and the 10-year storms are about the same, but once you start to get up to 25 to 50 and 100-year storms, then they start getting, maybe a couple more inches of rain. Kind of what Christina was saying, they were supposed to have these new numbers like adopted a while ago, but it sounds like it's going really well with 200 comment letters from engineers. I believe they sent out requests for comments, if I'm not mistaken, from engineers to review the draft and comment on it. And I guess that's what's taken. So DEP has not adopted them. Some towns have adopted them, but they use them sometimes and for some projects, and they don't use them for other projects. I just did a small subdivision in Gloucester where it was small enough. They said you don't have to use the NOAA 14 numbers; you can use the DEP numbers. So it can be a little bit confusing. So when we first, I'm sorry, you can't see, can you?
Oh,
Seconds. I just realized you're like poking around.
All right.
So when we first did this project in 2023, I did this just using the DEP numbers. And everything works great. We actually have a reduction in the amount of rate of runoff. Christina and I, actually, we opened some holes, beautiful sand there. Everything will go right into the ground. So those are the numbers that we went with. Christina sent me her comments that we need to use NOAA 14. For a couple reasons, I just responded back to her and said, I don't think we're subject to those. Like one, for instance, we're only from here, from this, we're going to call this the pre-development stage, from this condition to this condition. On site, we're only increasing the amount of impervious area by 31 square feet. The chapter 5 requirement, I think, is a 500 square feet increase. And then the other criteria is if it's less than 20,000 square feet of disturbance, you don't need to comply with that as well. And we have about 19,300 square feet of disturbance. It's also, there's another Board of Health requirement that says, things less than an acre sometimes don't require them because they're EPA regulations. So for that reason, Christina just mentioned, I think we have to file the waiver for it. She also asked me just to respond to a few other comments, which I sent back to her. But mainly the reason that we're here tonight is just to request the waiver for using the DEP numbers, because it's our position that this project doesn't need to use the higher numbers and that we qualify to use the lower numbers. So with that, let me know if you have any questions. And
So to ask Christina, also provide the board, you had a good explanation of why you're requesting the waiver. Just the current standards that we're using with the chapter 5, which is this project. Chapter 5 is the administrative drainage site. It's not a full stormwater permit, but we do want to ensure standards are being met.
yes,
In a smaller lot, it's not a level, it's not over an acre. But we have been, asked by the building commissioner, he came into one of our meetings and, that facilitated change for our drainage regulation, which happened last year,
Mhm.
that we need to make sure that we're meeting standards, that projects are having some type of drainage. But, our chapter 5 does, relate to the stormwater handbook. I'm not the expert on this, but I did ask Christina to come and present to the board of, like just a standardization of what we're trying to apply to community projects. Did I be on this?
Yes.
Thank
Christina Papadopoulos, stormwater engineer. So don't have a formal presentation. Just simply that, we're trying to do what has been directed to, trying to do what's directed to me by the town manager, the building commissioner, DPW director, town engineer. They all would like, more recharge into the groundwater. They want to see better stormwater management. The way to do that was to go before you and revise some stormwater regulations. One of the regulations that I saw was still too far, in the past, and not really bringing stormwater to the present, was the rainfall intensity data, which was that using the NOAA 14 atlas versus the old numbers from 1961. The DEP, Mass DEP has agreed that the NOAA 14 atlas is the best one to use currently. However, they haven't adopted it into the stormwater handbook because it's just taking a really long time. Many towns have already, as he said, adopted the NOAA 14 atlas. Towns around us for sure have adopted the NOAA 14 atlas rainfall intensities. It just brings our rainfall intensity data. So when you're doing your stormwater calculations, everything's more current based on what currently is happening with our rainfall intensity. We've seen a steady increase since the original, data was provided. So based on that trend, we'd like to stand for what is current. So based off of what the regulations are, I'm trying to keep it the same for pretty much for all projects. In my comment letter noted that his rainfall intensities were, not updated and requested that they be updated. Sorry, should I be understandable?
No question.
What's the difference? I mean, what has happened on this property in the past that might change with this new project? I mean,
So it's just any development in general, it is our recommendation that they, especially commercial properties, bring everything up to current stormwater standards. So.
well, why are they always changing?
Well, they haven't changed for a long time. And now we have, new.
Sometimes I
new
feel like we
information.
discourage development in this town. I'm
Definitely
sorry,
don't
that's
do
just
that.
my comment.
Definitely not.
So, yeah, I think we all know that DEP is gonna adopt, Atlas 14. My question is, how is this gonna work going forward with us? And, Atlas 14 in our area changed August 4th. So these numbers, because they adjust on data, it's constantly going in, they're constantly adjusting. How is that gonna work? How do we do that? If they do the soil testing back in April of 23 and start their design, start their work, they went to the zoning board of appeals in 23, they went to the planning board in 23. And all of those boards are looking at this concept design and this stormwater structure. And then August 4th, we just had another change local. And maybe September, we're gonna get another one. How is that gonna work?
Would we host the ones when they started the project?
Well, I had written that comment back in October 23, so we knew back in October 23 that I was looking at the,
So we hadn't adopted it in October 23.
we were still using it, I believe. Even though we hadn't adopted it because it was standard, we were using the, I believe.
How
we were
can
still
we,
using
how can we use it if at that time our bylaw said stormwater handbook?
Because that's the current standard, that's what DEP is going by. They haven't adopted it, but that's what they're using.
Well, before we get too far enough, so just to make everybody feel a little more comfortable, I mean,
What are we talking for a difference?
so
31 square.
just to
feet.
give everybody an idea, okay? This is the size of the subsurface chambers that we're putting in for the parking lot. Okay, it's big, it's bigger than the building. And then these are the chambers they're gonna take just the roof from. What Christina's saying is absolutely true, and it's kind of confusing for us as well. But that being said, I mean, like I heard somebody mention the other day, I mean, like FEMA just came out with new maps like 3 weeks ago, and some people that, the flood elevation was elevation 8, now it's elevation 11. All of this works, it works. If I had to go back, so my point, and yes, Christina did send those comments back then, and like I said, like some towns around here, they have not adopted officially the NOAA 14 numbers, but they asked if we could use them. This project is small enough in that I felt, and that's what I expressed to Christina, is that I just felt that because of the size of this and the fact that we were only changing the square footage of the impervious, and not to mention, the town asked us to remove an additional 1,100 square feet of impervious area here, because we were originally going to allow people to park on Dorset Ave. They said, we don't want that. So Mike said, fine, we'll take that away. So there's actually going to be, and again, but that's a little bit off site, but on the site itself, we're only increasing the square footage of impervious area by 31 square feet. But on the total, we're actually taking about another 1,100 square feet away. So this is a benefit to the site. We could certainly, go back and forth on what DEP says this or when it's another, but It's all really good sands and gravels. We used a good infiltration rate. These are all Caltech 333s. Everything's going to get run through a deep sump catch basin with a hood, a water quality inlet. It's going to be cleaned, and then it's going to go into the ground. So if we were to rerun the numbers, about the only thing that would really prove is that I can spend another 2 days rerunning HydroCAD, redoing the summary tables, redoing the numbers, and giving somebody a piece of paper that, you know, Christina will understand it, but it really doesn't make a big difference. I might have to add a few chambers or something, but ultimately it really doesn't affect the project that much. If this were, but let me just say, if this were a brand new project and it met all of your criteria, I would be doing that per the ones. But because this is smaller and because it's really a very small difference, I felt that it is adequately designed the way it is, and it does meet the intent of the DEP stormwater. Yes, and she's right. The numbers are old, and they're going to be updated. We just don't know exactly when. Which John made a good point. Like, if subdivisions a lot of times get approved, right, and they're good for 7 years. The zoning can be changed 3 times, and then you can't just say, "Oh, you don't have a subdivision anymore," because we went from 10,000 square foot zoning to 40,000 square foot zoning. You can't just take people's permits away because somebody might change the rules. So under the rules, with DEP at the time, I felt that this was the way to go, that we were underneath the threshold for what would require the upper numbers. It's still going to work. It's still a really good design for the stormwater, and it will clean the runoff and it will recharge everything that's on the site now. And not only that, we're going to be adding more green space here that otherwise would just run right into the system. So if that makes you feel more comfortable. Sidewalks are gonna be there, yeah. But Mass DOT is gonna put in, because Mike was actually said, if they don't put them out, I'll pay for it. Luckily, you didn't have to do that. So Mass DOT is
This does not take waiver, but I just wanted to ask about the exterior construction.
Mhm. Go ahead.
So I think the original plan you had the exterior construction. I remember you asked that, where was the one plan? Where are you at?
So we had talked about, applying for variance, to eliminate the exterior grease trap. I think there was a lot of concern from engineering, so we left it alone. So I believe it's still on the original plan, and we're gonna incorporate that to appease everybody. Yeah, of course, yeah.
Just didn't see on this plan.
It's separate motion.
And that's a separate issue.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, I need a motion.
I didn't know.
Joe, you've been quiet down there.
Yeah, listen, I gotta learn the ropes here, you know what I'm saying to you? I'm a little intimidated by the guy sitting next to me, kind of. He's kicked me under the table a couple of times, you know?
Action that we grant, 2 waiver requests for 834, 836 Boston Road Realty, LLC, for regulations of chapter 5, section drainage regulation.
With our standard conditions.
Make him do it.
So we have a motion on the
Second.
floor. We have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? 4-0.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh, geez.
I didn't want to break up the blue highlighter until the very end. And I can see that it was very,
It's great at picture.
I really am.
All right.
If you have any questions, please, don't.
Is that the 2 houses right across from Newtown? The kind of the lots a little elevated?
Right.
That's all right.
Yeah, right, yeah.
The houses were total rat, so,
Yeah, they're gone now. They look better already.
thank you.
You're not gonna take 2 years to do this, and we're not giving you this.
I'm gonna go up there with a shovel right now and send it, so I really want to hold it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank
The agenda we need to discuss tonight.
Yeah,
Thanks, Christine.
no, not on the agenda. But I got this guy, I got a question for Brett.
Thank you.
Is it, I know you can't answer, is it true that pretty soon they're gonna try to require people to pay an exorbitant amount of money to free $100,000? You haven't heard that?
We're talking about the tree bylaw.
Don't do it.
He's talking about a tree bylaw that the idea was floated at and approved at town meeting to form a committee to discuss that And it's not just to take Oregon, it's not that part of it, not just to take the trees down. But would it affect somebody else's drainage, somebody else's quality of life before
And
that?
the permit was like $800.
They haven't even formed a committee yet, they haven't named people to the committee yet, there's no, it's all.
No, it's, so I'm telling a side story. You feel that bylaw.
First,
Motion to adjourn.
second. All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm gonna tell this.
John.